Okay, so it's 3:55 on the 21st. So this is when the action's supposed to be started. It's today. If you hear, I think that there's some activity with the mice in the wall over there. I keep thinking, are they coming from the outside and they're trying to get through to the inside? Because they make all these little scratches and stuff, but there's a lot of noise over there today. See, as soon as I say there's a lot of noise and I'm quiet, then it stops. But the past few nights I've had the garage door like shut halfway, not all the way shut, not all the way open anymore. And so this morning I was just laying there, and I kept thinking about stuff and I kept thinking just about my own journey, about, you know, it's more harder to explain, I think, because I don't want to go all into that, but I'll probably speak some of it. But anyways, you have a vision of your journey, and then, you know, like you envision it different than how things go. And so then it's like, when is it going to go towards my vision? How long is it going to go? You know, like how many more hoops do I have to jump through before it gets good? And because I mean, it's a step out of the tent to go into a different garage, but still, it's like, you know, just like when I was talking about, you know, manifesting a mobile home to live in, and then it's like, well, you're setting your bar a little low, is my guidance. And so then you're like, oh yeah, I'll have a mansion. I'll have a big old house. I want this, I want that. And but it can take a while to get there. And it's like, man, how long does it take? Because it can make you, I swear to God, at times you can just feel like, what is the point of all this? What is the goddamn point? What am I doing? So anyways, I was laying there thinking like that, and there was like no going back to sleep. So I just got up, and so I was up and I started making my tea and stuff, and I heard this weird noise outside, like something I'd never heard before. And, you know, and this is supposed to be the start of it all. And so I'm like, oh my God, baby, this is the start for real, for real. And it sounded like, almost like mechanical thunder or something. It sounded so weird, like nothing I've never heard before. So I go over to the door to try and hear it, and the door was down some, so I couldn't hear it very well. So I start opening it, but that was the that was the last loud crashing sound. Man, I've had it open this whole time, and it hasn't done that again. And it was like, oh, that was the weirdest sound. If there starts being like really weird sounds like that outside, that's going to get people's attention. Because it was weird. It was like nothing I've ever heard before. And, but, so, there's stuff I want to talk about with this. And I swear, I don't want to try and influence somebody into believing what I believe. You can believe what you believe. Like, if you believe in the Bible and Rapture and all that stuff, you believe what you believe. Because I don't want to, you know, mess up your deal. You got to follow your own guidance. But my guidance has been leading me somewhere else my whole life. So, and then the stuff that I don't know what's going on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But on TikTok, or on TikTok, it is Rapture. That is like, it's so strange too. Hold on. It's so strange too is because I keep seeing video after video of people saying, has anybody else's algorithm turned into the Rapture? Like, everybody's getting these videos. And a lot of them are these same people. So I don't know if it's just like there's 10 people out there talking about it, or there's just a ton, but there's a few that are so that everybody keeps talking about these ones. But because there's lots of these videos that are like, okay, so you've probably woke up now and you're wondering where everyone is. So we're going to explain to you what has happened. Like they're going to explain because all these people suddenly don't have a clue what's going on. It's like, but all the people are gone. So they're leaving videos behind to explain it to you. And there's this one woman, she's making charts and stuff. She's making a whole thing. I guess it sounds like to prepare for the rapture or to help you prepare after I'm not sure really. But it's very, like, I don't know what her job is, but I mean, she's got graphs and shit. So she's really gone another step. So lots of people stitching her videos and stuff. Because a lot of the people who are like, what? They're all the opposite. They are all more of science, I guess. And this, I have a whole bunch going in my head. So, so this one lady I saw this morning, she was on the other side. And so it's still going on about Charlie. There's just so much division. It's just wacky. And it's not just on one side. It's on both sides. It's like I can't even sit and listen to a video of somebody and then agree with them because they're going to go to another thing. They're going to turn it into some kind of, we hate you, and keep it in division. So you can't, it's like you can hear them and be like, oh yeah, I agree with that. But then all of a sudden it goes another step. It's like, well, I don't agree with that. So, but this lady, so it just gets so weird because it has to do with, and I've talked about this before, but I don't know this much about this. It was kind of new to me because I wasn't religious. I mean, I grew up with religion being forced on me. And then, I have a really religious mom. And then, so religion has been around me my whole life. And okay, hold on, let me see, I gotta gather my thoughts. So this, okay, hold on. So so religion has been a part of my life since I was a little kid, but it was not ever something that I aligned with. And then I've had communication with whoever you want to think it is, guidance, whatever. I've been in communication with somebody outside of this realm, multiple beings outside of this realm since I was a little kid. And they've always told me different than what we were being told here. But when I try and tell people, nobody ever listened to me. So it's always been kind of like just me and my own beliefs. And which always trips me out because when people start telling me what their beliefs are, I say, well, where do they come from? Where do they come from? They just come from what you're told here? But anyways, so so I didn't know that much about the blues and the real and all that stuff. Like, I didn't know this marriage between, like, the Christians were meant to protect them because they're the chosen people or something. I'm not even, I mean, but this was all more new to me when all of this stuff started happening over at the Strip and stuff. And it seemed like, cut and dry, even though I think it was like on replay. Like, I think this stuff has been going on for hundreds of years. And I mean, that documentary that was made about that, where some of the footage seems to come from, was made like in 2018. And so the documentary about what was going on over there. But, we all just ignored it. We all just went about our business. Nobody paid any attention. Whatever it was that got people's attention, which I don't even remember, but it got all the blues attention. And So, but, okay, yeah, there's the blues, the rhyme with the J, and then there's the blues that are considered the liberal. So I gotta clarify that. So the libs, we'll just say the libs instead of the blues. So the blues are starts with the J, and then the libs is the group that all of a sudden became aware of what was happening in the Middle East, which tripped me out because it's like, is this seriously news to you? Like, y'all didn't know like this has been going on? Like, cause I knew since I was a kid. Like, what? That just still weirds me out. It's like, how do you not know what's going on over there? Like, what are they teaching in school? How did I learn about it? Like, it's weird. So, but anyways, I don't know when, because I've known about it since I was young. So I don't know when or how I learned about the wars and this battle, like this religious battle or something that's been going on in the Middle East for thousands of years or something. So maybe I learned about it in church. I fucking don't know. I just know I've known it my whole life. And so then when the people started freaking out about it recently, it was just weirded me out. Like, this has like been going on a long time, and you guys think this just started? This just began? It's like, this is the old news, man. So, hold on. So, but when that all went down, so the libs got all upset. They started marching in our streets, waving these other flags and all this shit, and going against. Of course, it all narrows down to Donald. Somehow it all narrows down to, this has been going on thousands of years, but it's fucking Donald, man. So, and so the, so then the, but then when the Christians stepped up and said, no, we support these guys. Oh, it was like, what? What? I still, it's just like, what? And especially the more stuff that comes out about that, the nation and stuff, and the more stuff that comes out about the bullshit. So much bullshit. But it's like, it's the same as this fucking storyline. It's the same as this book. It's the same. It's like, what? So the, I'm getting hot. So the, the people, the religious people, support the, what they think of as being the blue people, but it's really the blues are cover for the Z's. And if you don't know what the Z's are, the ZIONISTs, and those ones go way back to also being like in the original tribes of control and power. They go back to the vamps. I don't know that they are necessarily of that same species of beings, but they are the same in the sense of thinking that they're over man or mankind or whatever, that they are superior, and so that they are the rulers of this reality. And so but the Christians always show their blind dedication. It's like, do what they're told. And then it's always held over them, life after death or something, because they think that's the only way to get it. So, which you don't die. That's the thing. You don't die. It doesn't matter what you do or what you think. I mean, you're going to come out of your body and you're going to see, oh, here I am, still here. So, but, what you believe is kind of like where you go. So, that's why I said they create their own, as a collective, their own concept of what happens after death. Like they could create their own little space and think of it as the heavens and stuff, but at some point, I would think that their soul would continue to question things. But I mean, you could live there for a long, long, long time and, you know, be happy. You know, so I don't know. There's lots of realities out there. It all has to do with the pressure comes from the vibration. And so the higher the vibration, the less pressure. There's not a lot to stress you out. So but the libs, they can see that the blues, the real lights, they are consuming the people from the strip, because the people who consider themselves to be the real lights, they look at them as like Gorum or whatever they call us. Gorum. It always sounds so horrible when you hear them say it. Like that Gorum. So like garbage. And so they're lower. And so they use them for the industry of the trade of, you know, what we are called, our species. So our species is used in this industry of trade, and in that industry there is a lot of people, if you want to call them that, that don't have compassion or empathy. And it's kind of like taking a group of kids and then gathering up a bunch of insects and putting them in a bottle and then terrorizing them and watching what they do and watching how they hurt each other and seeing who's superior. So that's kind of like what we are to them. These people who look at them, and one of the things too that makes them more superior is that they have more of the answers to real life, but they keep the people in the dark. So the people don't know, but we have a natural inclination inside of us of connection with our soul, but that's why they do everything they can to disrupt that connection and to distract you so that you keep from connecting to yourself. So yeah, it's funny because then, yeah, they have pushed some of us into like being so isolated and such an outcast from others, we had nowhere else to go. But so it backfired on them. So they enjoy playing with the insects inside the jar and watching them fight for food, fight for whatever. So it's like just they bear witness to us. They just watch our struggle, and then since they have like a lack of emotion and empathy and stuff, they don't really feel anything towards it. And I just saw a podcast yesterday. I've talked about this a million times about the rooms that are in the color scheme of red and what goes on in them, and what they originally with the coin that you call the bit it was used for when they had to come up with a currency that could be untraceable to go into the web that's the darker. And so they I saw a podcast, a little clip yesterday where the guy was asking him, so what's the worst thing you've seen? And he said that there's elite people who enjoy watching horrible things. And he said one of the worst ones that he has ever heard of or seen or whatever is that they will take brand new newborns and then they will BASH their SKULL as they all pay to enjoy this entertainment. And so that is what I've been talking about with this room. And if it just seems really strange and stuff to you, well, they made 3 movies that show about it. A movie series of 3, and it's HOSTEL. And what I heard that they pulled it, and that it's hard to find now. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure I could find it. I'm pretty sure that it's in my brother's library. So but that, as soon as I watched it, I was like, this is real. This is real shit. This isn't fake. And it was before I knew about some of this stuff. It was before I even heard of the Illuminati, that group. Like, I don't think I ever even heard of those people until, I don't know, 2017 or 2018. And I saw something about it, and I was like, oh, that's real. So I started trying to tell people, and then they're like, oh my God, that's a conspiracy theory that's been going on for decades. Get off the YouTube. Quit watching that stuff. And I'm like, no, that's real. That's real. That's real shit. But anyways, people see that stuff, and then they'll be like, oh my God. But then they're like, oh, that's not real. Let's go back to work. So, but that shit's real. Just like that, those rooms that are red. And then, so, it's these people, like the Vamps and the ZIONS. I'm not saying every single person that has, every single money hoarder out there is into this weird shit. That, but the more of the original tribe people, because you have a bunch of different tribes that are here. And so you have other colonizing tribes who've just come and just want to live their lives. But there's the group that goes way back, and they are the ones who have maintained power throughout the different resets and stuff. So they have maintained power. And so they've created false realities. It's like they created this religion thing. And so, and I think it was because throughout, people were looking for something, so they had to give them something to find. And it had to be something that they controlled. So it's got a little bit of truth, but a whole lot of control. And it has enough stuff that it takes you into the worship of the dark energy. And people don't realize it, because they tell them that this is God and you're going to go to hell if you don't do it. But when you stop and think about what it is that you're worshiping, and you're worshiping division, hierarchy, judgment, and stuff like that, it's like, that's lower vibration. So, but that's where they were like, these humans are always looking for something outside of themselves. They're trying to find their purpose. They're trying to find, so they're like, well, let's write a book. Let's put it on the bookshelves, and let's tell them that these are the answers. And then they all go, and then they give them enough truth that it makes sense to them. But anyways, so, but the Z's, they are like, when you say the Z's, even sounds like disease, and that's how I see them. They're a disease to humanity. They're a disease to mankind. They are very self-gratification. They're very hierarchy. They, just like, talking about like we're Gorm, like, we have no worth. We're garbage. So they, so these people on the strip is just like a pond, like we have ponds. We look at these certain fish or whatever as like having nothing. They have no, they're just there for us. It doesn't matter what their life is. It doesn't matter what's going on under the water with them. They are here for us. That's how they look at these people. They look at them as like they are nothing. And so we can just, take one as we want one and do as we will. And then it's this mentality that is kind of spread globally. But they have a system of connection, and they are able to stay in this connection through a system that we will just call the laundry system. So, and they do use a lot of financial switcheroo to go through there to fund their said projects. So but it trips me out is like how you can see what these people are doing and you still are in support of that. And it's like this, the real, the rider dies for the real. And it's like, why can't you see that what is going on? And even that you have people who consider themselves to be the blues waking up and saying, hey, something's up with this shit. And we're being used and stuff. So they're recognizing it. And then these storylines that were created also to make them, now we're trying to make it like the anti, the semis, that anti. So that is becoming a crime where it's like, I don't know, punishable by death or something. So, nobody's allowed to say anything about these people. You can say whatever the fuck you want about everybody else, but don't say anything about them. So, that just shows, like, who is in control of this fucking world. If you can have it be a crime for anybody to talk about you. So, so we got all this weird shit going over there. This girl's video I just saw this morning, and she was like, you guys want to be, because the one group, which is ceremonies today. I thought it was yesterday, but it's today, which is also the start of this equinox or something, some kind of eclipse. Like, it's a lot of weird shit going on at the same time. So, of course, today's the day they're going to make his big ceremony. And they've already had where there was going to be protests. There's already been a guy who was one of these who got caught. It's like, it's going to be drama, drama, drama. It's, I swear to God, it's part of the whole thing for the ceremony is to bring in the drama, to get people's attention. It's just so tedious. So so this girl she was pissed, man. And she's like, you guys want to sit here and think like we give a shit about Charlie. He's another millionaire gone. Who gives a fuck? This is her saying this shit. And she said, who gives a fuck about that? I said, or she said, you support people who are over there wiping out, which she used the word with the gin, these people on the strip, which she used the word of who they are. And so she said they're over there wiping them out and creating this gin, and you guys support them. But then you sit there and say that we, the libs, are the ones that have no care about life, and because we say who cares about Charlie. And like, everybody has ways to justify their reality of how they look at things. And but that's the thing, is kind of like looking past what you find justifiable in your reality, to kind of be like, yo, well, I see it from this way, but there's a lot of other people seeing it from all different ways. And so your way, when you get stuck on your way, that is kind of going into an extremist view almost. Like, it's like there's a million ways you could be looking at this, but you're sure that yours is the only way. And sometimes you just gotta just step back a little bit and look at it from a bunch of different perspectives. And because everything changes the more perspectives that you're able to witness, instead of just hyper-focusing on yours. That's what draws you closer and closer to the glass, to where all you see is what you see. You don't see anything else coming around you, because you just see what you're looking at, because you just draw yourself in, you zoom in into your what your motivation, what bothers you, the things that eat at you or whatever. You zoom in on it, and that's all you can see. And there's so much more to this story. And then every fucking time it just goes in on it because it's Donald. It's Donald. Donald's doing this. It's Donald. Jesus Christ. That's why I said, like, I could agree with some things that some people say, but then they always go another step over here, another step over there, and it's like, oh my gosh. So because everything is to this big show, and I don't know I mean, there's a whole complication going on with this. I would say, to me, it has something to do with maybe the awakening of the Bible believers, and all this drama with the real lights, because it's just, there's some of the stuff, it's just like, I don't know, I don't get it. And because that's also a part of the conspiracy over Charlie too, that he spoke out against something of them, and so they went and took him out, and then they responded and said, oh, we didn't do that and stuff. But I don't know. There's something with this marriage that I don't know that it includes all of us, like, because it's a relationship that seems kind of irrational to me. Like, you do whatever you want, we're just going to support you. Kind of like, yeah, that girl who was got caught talking on the jail phone to her boyfriend who's arrested in there, and she's like, oh yeah, she's hidden all the evidence, she's wiped his phone, she's wiped his text, she's wiped his emails and all this weird shit, and she doesn't really care. Yeah, you can go be a molester all you want, it's fine, just make sure you come home to me. It's like, what the fuck? What in the fucking world, these people? Like, god damn, desperation is heinous, man. And so I don't know, yeah, some of them, they believe it's love. Like, what? Okay, so anyways, some of this stuff, like, it almost like has no interest to me. It has no spark in my mind of, like, it's a bunch of stuff. And but there's certain highlights, like the real lights, that they are, you're not allowed to say anything bad about us, that's anti, and that we can do no wrong. We are taking over the world. The few of us are taking over the rest of you. And these people that wave the Bible, that they are in support of these people because they claim to be the chosen, because, I don't know, it says in the Bible or something, which I would say then that gives you a good sign of who wrote it, like, who's involved in the writing of that. It's like, yes, you will worship me, and I am a chosen. So anyways, I don't know, but it seems like it's kind of coming to a head, and because without a doubt, these people do look at themselves as being over these other people, and they are wiping out these other people that they look as lower, and they are keeping them in a restricted area, and they are keeping them in poverty. They do, and even though it's not just like, there's always these organizations that are used to do the dirty work, and they're everywhere. And the TERRORISTS, and they come in different labels, like the ISIS, the HAMAS, the CARTL, the MAFIA, and then, I mean, we've got more and more GANGs, because the three-letter organizations, they need scapegoats, and so they need certain people to be the bad guys, so they can look like the good guys. But they aren't good guys. They're as bad as the rest of them. And they're always looking for scapegoats. And that, like, go look at the other side. I mean, I think that the Manson thing, and the one that really got me was Rob Zombie's documentary, because that gave a different perspective on it, where all of a sudden it was like it just clicked. It was like, oh my God, this guy that I thought was like, you know, the devil or something for all these decades, all of a sudden you see this different thing where he's like trying to wake us up to this corruption that is in our system. And what they did to him. But, you know, as far as the rest of us were concerned, oh, he's just a little fucking criminal druggie who got all these people to worship him and stuff like that. But it's like, so see how they can, they use like, yeah, Nancy even talked about that. Because they use this, because they've done it to Donald for so long, just keep, what is that called? Because you can sue people for degradation, you get, when people are saying stuff about you that's not true. So they use that, but they flood us. Even Barack has talked about this. They just flood us with this information, so then we believe it because it's just everywhere. But that's what they do to get us to believe what they want us to believe. And so we don't see or hear what the person is trying to say because they keep them in limitation. They keep, you know, I think they did it with Assange. I think they've done it with the Snow guy. I think they've done it over and over and over. I think there's other whistleblower people who have also experienced that isolation of you're the bad guy and the whole world's against you. And so, and they are in control of the media so that they can make sure that they direct how everybody looks at things. So they make sure to, whatever, to make these people out to be the bad guy. And that's what they do about Donald, and that's what these people don't see, is he is like a blower of the whistles against a whole fucking segment of people who consider themselves to be the top echelon. And because he was able to infiltrate into that group through his own financial gain or whatever in his life. And so he was able to enter certain rooms that the rest of us couldn't. And then he tried to say, but of course they are going to make him out to be the bad guy, that he's a crazy person and all the stuff they say about him. And so then all these other people believe it because they tag him with like, it's his fault this is happening, it's his fault this is happening. And they do make all these links and stuff with him and the real lights and the leader over there. That's funny because I'm gonna call him Nosferatu. But so they do, but I think it is to bring certain things up to the surface. So he's got to bring things to the surface because everything has been done under, in the dark, in the back, behind closed doors. So he's bringing everything to the surface. So we see, but these people just keep seeing him as being all the lights are on him and not seeing the bigger story because their nose is up against the glass. That's why you have to step back so that you can see more of the storyline. But he is the instigator, the catalyst to bring these things out of the dark, out of the back room, and into our awareness so that we can see what's happening. So whatever is going on with all of this religious stuff, because it comes from this too, because they're the chosen people. So it all goes together. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, like I don't even pay attention to it all. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the real lights, the Christ followers, and Donald, and all this stuff. So, and it somehow orbits around Charlie's death too, bringing more of it to the surface. So, which it would be kind of funny if they did resurrect Charlie, because I don't think he's dead anyways. But all of a sudden it's like, oh, because there's a word on the street too in this group of people, like he's another Jesus. So they resurrect him, and all these people are like, oh my God, he's resurrected. And it's like, dude, go listen to conspiracy theorists, man. He'd never go. He's been there the whole time. So anyways, but so we got a lot of stuff going on with that. But so, and like I said before, there's people on the lib side who, they have a lot of good, they care about all these people being slaughtered. And they get pissed because these other people who just seem like they want to put all the rules on everybody, but they don't. They seem to be irrational. Like both groups seem to be irrational to the other group. But I can see the good and the bad on both sides. It's not just one or the other. It's just how things are focused and how division is created. So, because they have good things and bad things, and they have good things and bad things. And both sides, 100%, confirmation, 100% are preaching about division and hierarchy. That group is no good. That group needs to go. We are the better group. I know that it comes on the one side, but I hear it on the other side too, because those channels are on all the time. And anytime I walk through the room, I hear what they're saying, and it is so, it's the exact same thing. Like, they're no good, they're no good. Making fun of, like, that is not, I just don't even understand how anybody could think like that is what a creator would want. Like, yeah, a creator would want you to just hate them. It's like, even if it were that world, why would it be that you wouldn't feel empathy because they're lost, and you would pray for their spirit to be saved? Why would it just be like, fuck them, the fucking garbage, and you know what I mean? They're worthless and they're stupid, and it's like, so anyways, both sides that are digging firmly into their side are the same. It's like the same personality coming out in both people. Even though they think that they're so different, it's like, y'all are acting the same. So, anyways, but so right now on TikTok, so we have this Rapture thing going, and all these people saying, where the rapture's about to go, and they got the date, the 23rd through the 24th, that they're all rapturing out. And which Amy just sent me this. I thought it was a joke, but she said, no, they have a real website and everything. So they've got a website for the people who rapture, and if your pets aren't going with you, so they'll take care of your pets until they pass, so they can be with you then. And I thought, this is going to be a joke, but it was funny because when I was laying in the thing, I was like, well, if she's going to rapture this week, I hope her pets go with her. And then I saw that commercial. I was like, that is hilarious. But one thing too on the, one thing too on all these people, this trips me out, because remember when I said, this was a couple years ago, it's been said to me several times, is when I rapture, you make sure and tell people it was not the aliens. The aliens did not come and get me. And I'm just like, okay. Like, I thought it was the strangest thing when she said it the first time. I was like, I didn't know if it was like directed towards me, because I believe in the whole thing with aliens and stuff. I have for my whole life. That so I wasn't sure, but she said it several times. Like, when I rapture, this has been over a couple of years. When I rapture, you make sure and you tell people I did not go with the aliens. And I'm always less like, okay, well, now they're saying it. All these people are saying it. All these people who are talking about rapture, we did not go with the aliens. The people are going to they're going to try and tell you that we went with the aliens. We didn't go with the aliens. Like, who's saying this? Is it like the preachers? Or preachers are saying it? Like, where's this coming from? Is it in the Bible? They're going to try and say you went with the aliens, but you went with me. Like, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. So, I don't know. But so this whole huge trend is going. And then you have this other side talking about how kooky it is. Like all these people are kooky. And then you have them all saying, you guys aren't going anywhere. So I'm going to go and do videos afterwards and ask you how you're feeling now, because you guys do this all the time, that you're leaving on the rapture and stuff like that. So anyways, I heard this lady. So this was what I heard this morning. And I hadn't seen her yet talking about it. She's a little old lady, and so she said that, and they're always talking to God himself, which I don't know. I don't know what it is to be alive and think that there's really a God, one singular God over all the universe, and he's just a guy walking around up in the sky or something. And then he had his one son, and he's just going to save this place. I don't know. The whole thing just seems so out far-fetched to me. It makes no sense when there's so many more things that make so much sense. And that seems so far-fetched. But to other people, that makes sense. And what I say is far-fetched. So it's weird. Which to me, that's why I'm like open. It's like, we'll see. But so, yeah, that's why I'm saying, I'm not trying to force you to believe what I believe. If you believe in, the Holy One upstairs and the rapture and all that, then believe it. You gotta believe what you believe. But you gotta go with what feels right to you. But I've never been able to. Even when I tried as a kid, it was like, I just can't see it. I can't see it. So, anyways, and it always made sense to me, a reincarnation. From the moment I heard it, it was like, yeah, this is what's going on. And everybody thought I was so fucking crazy. Still, 40 fucking years later, people think it's crazy. It's like, so weird to me. I feel like people are just stuck back in the fucking, like, the beginning of time or something. It's like, gather up the babies, gather up the infants, let's throw them in the volcano so we have a good season. It's like, it's the weirdest stuff. Like, it's weird. I don't get it. So, it just seems so primitive to me how, like people are stuck in this primitive way of thinking. But and I guess if you go to the thing of the people who are trying to keep people stuck, that's where they want to keep you. So, anyways, this lady, so she said that she was, she's waiting on her hip surgery. And, which I don't know, this whole thing with the medical and stuff. There's just, that's a whole other thing, medical and the humans and stuff like that. So anyways, and it's like, well, if it's God, I don't know. We all come up with our own rationalization in life. So you could be like, well, God is the one who sent them to invent the surgery so I could get this surgery. It would never be that I came here to experience what it is to have this. No, I came here so this guy over here could solve my problems. It's like, I don't know. It's all in how we look at things. So anyway, so she said God himself was talking to her, which is so funny because there are so many of these people. It's God himself spoke to me. But then if I were to go and say, well, you know what God told me, you're talking to the devil. Just don't even listen. Okay. So so God spoke to her, and she's laying there in pain, and he told her, get up. And she said, no, I don't want to get up. He said, get up. I want you to write it down. I'm going to tell you what to write down. So she said, okay, God, I'll get up. So she got up and she wrote 5 pages of what he said is about to go down. So I'm going to tell you what she said is about to go down. Because it was like, I had thoughts about this. And so to me, everything is through perspective. And so it's how you perceive, how you translate, and how you look at things. And so she said that the lights are about to go out. And they also have this in The Simpsons, is this big thing. And that's why this morning, even when all that noise, it was like, oh, are all the machines going to stop working now? Is all the lights going to go out? So, we're going to be in the 3 days of darkness, which on that side, these people who believe in all this rapture and stuff like that, when it goes dark, you cover all your windows, you cover all your doors, you lock everything, you lock yourself inside. You don't look outside because the devils get to run freely for 3 days, because God's going to allow them to run free for 3 days. So you don't look out or anything, because if you look at them, they'll get you. And so um, so so when it goes dark, that you have to be prepared in your house and stuff. And she said you need to be telling people now, so that each person will get to go and be locked down with a Jesus follower, so that they know what's going on. So the Jesus people are supposed to be telling everybody else to get them prepared, so that, and there's going to be certain precursors, like that, there would be some earthquakes and stuff today, some big earthquakes and stuff like that. And when the earthquakes happen, that's the precursor of, oh, it's about to go down. And so then you're supposed to tell everybody, oh, get over here to my house, we gotta lock up. And then you lock up. And that's where those ladies were talking about, well, what do I do if my pet has to go to the bathroom? Well, you gotta get puppy pads. And so I was talking about that the other day, about these ladies talking about that. So anyways, so this lady said that God told her that Planet X, he called it Planet X. Planet X is going to cross in front of the sun, and it's going to darken the sun. So there's going to be no light, because Planet X has returned and it's in front of the sun. But he's not going to let it go to freezing cold. He's just going to let it go cold enough to get our attention. So it's going to be cold. It's going to be like 50 degrees. He's going to keep it right at 50 degrees everywhere. And but it's going to be to get our attention. So we will turn to him. And that, but you got to have blankets and stuff. You got to have food. Only burn white candles and some kind of oil. So, and he said, don't question me. Just don't burn anything but white candles. The all-powerful, the almighty. He only prefers white candles. So, I don't know, some of the stuff, it just is weird to me. Okay, so she said that then, there's a bunch of fake Christians. So, but they aren't called fake, they're called, on the fence or something. So they don't really follow Jesus, but they still commit sins. But they are going to be more pressure to put on them, but they won't all make it, because this is the precursor to the rapture. So the 3 days of darkness, the devil's come and take over the earth. Then, and okay. And so so then the rapture occurs. So then they all leave, but the ones that are on the fence Christians, the ones that aren't full, worshiping Christian or whatever, that they don't go. So then they are going to be real stressed out. And because they're sinners. But the weird thing is like when you're sitting there saying, well, they're sinners, it's like, well, aren't we all sinners? Isn't that the whole thing? And isn't it in the book that you're a sinner, and I know it, but you just call my name at the end and you're good to go? Well, wouldn't those people know that? Like, okay, well, I'm a sinner, but all I gotta do is call his name and I'm ready to go. So it's like, okay, well, is that a hole in the story? Because it sounds weird. So there was another part coming in at this, the sinners, so the sinners don't go. All the other people go because they've been washed by the Son of Christ or something. And so their sins don't matter anymore. But the other ones, they're because they continue to sin. And then all the people, what about the people who are not sinners, but they don't know Christ? So where do they stand on this whole thing? It's like there's like certain rules. If you want to rapture out, you got to be, take a knee to Christ. You got to be like, oh, save me, buddy. So after these people leave, then we're going to go in. She said it's going to be 3 to 7 years of tribulation, but the tribulation's already started, she said. But there's going to be 3 to 7 years. They're going to be really bad. Then the things are not going to come on the same way. He's going to control the temperature, and we're going to have new electricity, and that everything's going to change. But that the aliens are going to come in and clean up the mess with their high technology. But they are the devils. So they're the devils and the demons. They're going to come in, they're going to clean up the mess, but they're going to make us take the mark of the beast. So they, she referred to them a bunch of times as the devils and the demons. So the aliens are the demons and the devils. And they're going to come to fix things, but they are, what was it? Christ said, this is his creation. He, what was it? There was some things something was coming into my mind. But anyways, but this is his creation, and he's in charge of it. Oh yeah, okay. But it's mankind that destroyed it. Okay, so not the vamps and not the Z's. It's the slaves. The slaves are the ones who destroyed the planet. Okay, got it. So, not the corporation. No, it's us. We destroyed the planet. And so mankind is the sinner, and our sins destroyed the planet. And that to me is as the impulse and I hear dissatisfaction, but the impulse towards fetish and sin and stuff like that, the crime, the criminal, but they also created criminals. But that institutes the sinner. And so, yeah, man has had his sins watered by the dark. So we all have the dark side inside of us. But in this realm, they have watered that side. But so this God that she was talking to, he said that it's mankind that destroyed his creation, and mankind destroyed his creation through their sins. And so they have to be reprimanded. And so he's going to cause this huge destruction in order to get them to realize their sins. But to me, this is like when I very first started seeing this stuff back in 2016, and I kept saying that these things are going to happen, and it was like everybody was going to have these come to Jesus moments. And it's like the Christ consciousness. It's like the awakening to connect to yourself, to your soul. And so that to me is what it is. Because when you connect to your soul, yeah, you're not going to just go around mindlessly committing sins and stuff. You're going to be a lot more thoughtful and take a lot more, like you'll understand more the universal law and stuff of what you put out comes back to you. And taking some other life form or life is not your right. It's not, it's like putting yourself into place in the universe, understanding your role. And so it's bringing you into a state of consciousness that most people have not experienced yet. So that confirmation. So that is the to me, like the come to Jesus moments, the Christ consciousness, this changeover in the world of and not everybody, like I've said, not everybody will be able to get there because their own shame and guilt and stuff is going to hold them back, and their attachments to the dark, that they are not going to be able to pull free from it, and so they're going to stay trapped. But even if you stay trapped, it's not like, because you just go into other realities and keep going through different experiences to pull yourself free. So it's not like you're stuck there forever or something, and it's not like you're bound to hell for eternity. But but that's what this thing that's going on, this ascension, this awakening and stuff, is for the people to pull out of the dark, connect to themselves, and go towards the no sinning kind of lifestyle, the being true to your spirit, and the Christ consciousness awakening inside of people. It's not, but to me, it's not like what they say, like Christ is up there, you better do this or you're bound to suffer and stuff. But people create their own suffering. And so the people who can't go forward, it's because they are stuck in their suffering. So it's not like God himself is binding them to it because they've sinned. It's like they can't get themselves out of it because they don't know how. To me, it is like they hold themselves back from the true connection because of their guilt and shame. They don't feel worthy. They don't feel good enough. And so they just keep kicking their own ass and they can't move forward. But that's why, God is love, and that is why God is forgiveness, and that is why you have to connect to that part of yourself to learn how to love and forgive yourself. That's what's important about this whole thing, is you learning to love and forgive yourself. And but they all have this figurehead, and so but so then after this tribulation and the demons and devils all come and changed our technology and stuff, and then we are bound here for 3 to 7 years of turmoil, and then with the devils and stuff, and then God, this is the return of Jesus after the tribulation, after we've all surrendered, I guess. Then he's going to come down, and then he's going to take over the earth, and then it's going to be heaven on earth. Okay, so but if we look at this from the Christian that's the Christian perspective. If we look at it from the spiritual perspective, like I said, this is the time of people realizing that there's a better way, and that the sins is like, to me, it's like you kind of need to start recognizing who's in control here and what they've done to give you. It's like they've made a huge playground for the sinner. And but then in the spiritual sense of things, you come to experience, like, yeah, you may do some sins, but how do you get yourself out of it? It's all about learning. It's all about growth and experiencing. So it's not like it's really looked at like a sin and it's bad and you're going to be bound to hell and the demons and devils and shit. It's not looked at it like that from the universe. It's all looked at, like I've said before, it's all looked at through experience and through observation of watching, of how you get there, how you get out of there, where you go, what you do, it's all that. And we're all multiple expressions of all these different sins and all these different examples. So it's like a big giant show of seeing the maneuvering through and getting yourself in and out of problems. And so this is this awakening, this awareness. That's why all this crazy shit keeps going. So it's to capture people's attention. And that's why Donald is such a huge figure that causes so much disruption, because he's here to get people's attention and pull their attention to the problems. And so but the problems are seeming one way, but there's going to be a flipping where you're going to see it more clearly, because there is like so many people's noses up against the glass, and they need to step back and look out all the windows. And that's what we're going to have happen. It's like the window you've got your face pressed up against is going to suddenly change. It's going to blast you back. It's going to make you shift and look at a different one. It's going to suddenly go where you can't see anything, and it's going to turn into a mirror. That's what it's going to do. You got their nose pressed against the glass, but it's going to turn into a mirror. What does a mirror do? It reflects back. So you're going to see yourself, but you're going to see a whole nother storyline. And so it's a reflection that shows what's behind you. So you're going to see more when this thing happens, whatever it is that's going to happen. And if it is the lights going out for days, then, I don't think that would be, even this God in her writing said that there's going to be like the aurora borealis. There's going to be all sorts of crazy colors in the sky and stuff, but we're not supposed to look at it. We're not supposed to look at anything. We're not supposed to see the power behind the universe. We're supposed to just hide because there's demons and devils out there. It's like, so is there going to be like all these aliens going to be walking around or something, and we're supposed to hide from them? It was like, they could walk right through the fucking wall. So I don't know. Some of this stuff just seems wacky to me. So they're multi-dimensional. They go through dimensions, but they can't just go through your wall. They can't just come through the mirror. You can just walk into your house. It's like, so I don't know. Even if you believed that they were devils and demons, so you think that the walls and the doors and the curtains are keeping them out? Okay. I don't know. So anyways, so in the spiritual perspective, so this awakening is to pull you back into remembering your own divinity, remembering who you are. And then it's like all the things that you did while you were drunk last night, you have got to face it. So all the things all your sins, all the things you've done while you've been in the dark, you have to face it. But the things that you're here to face are the things that you've been carrying from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. So you're here to heal these things. And that's what the depth to people's shame and guilt is going to be very intense. And it's but that's the part that moves you into your ascension, that moves you into this. And the concept of Jesus coming and taking over the world is really, it's all of us becoming of that same state of consciousness, becoming like a collective of Christ consciousness that creates this new reality of existence, which would be the heaven on earth, the Christ consciousness, the return of Christ. And so that period of time, which then the religious thing is saying 1,000 years, that period of time is going to be the age of Aquarius. And so however long that age is, and I don't know what age or whatever is after that, I just know I'm here for this thing, which I heard somebody also talking about, because I was talking about this the other day, I've talked about it a bunch of times, that it creates, developing yourself and finding what you're interested in and what you're good at and stuff. It develops your creativity. And that is because you're a creator. And that is what they try and keep you from becoming, is your true self. And so that as people awaken, they become more creators. And that is why when we start having this new earth forming, that it's going to be so interesting and cool and stuff, because it's all this creative side of people that's going to create this new world. And so it's going to be really cool. Like, man, these videos I've seen of China, fuck, I swear to God, they had me convinced that China was like so different than even Vietnam. Fuck, Vietnam's kick ass. Like, there's some cool ass places, and they try and get us to believe like these places are poverty. And there is places like, you know, I think they're more rural and stuff, but some of these cities are fucking high tech as fuck. They are, and they don't have crime. They don't have homeless drug addicts everywhere and stuff. They have, it's clean. There's like not litter everywhere, and people have respect for one another. Like, it's a completely different kind of lifestyle. And but they do have a lot of people crammed into certain places. So I don't know how that's gonna go, because there's gonna be changes. So I don't know if some of these high-tech cities are like, I don't know what their deal is with volcanoes or earthquakes and stuff. I know Japan is on the, you know, on the burner, but so is like Hawaii and stuff. There's a lot of places that are on the chopping block that aren't. They're like, America is going to be changing its landscape a lot. So there's lots of places that are on the chopping block. You know, we'll see how it plays out, how things go. But anyways, but in the spiritual perspective of things, that is, it's us. It's not just this one God who's over us and is going to come and be like, okay, you mankind now who are done sinning. It's like, you're not even acknowledging the ones in charge. And then to keep saying, yeah, she kept saying, because I'm in charge. God said he's in charge of this realm. It's like, what the hell's he got these fucking people over here in charge of this fucking reality when they're fucking eating us and stuff? It's like, that's what you wanted? So it's like they're missing some of the story. It's like they're not acknowledging some of the shit that's going on, and they're just making their story fit because the Bible says. And it's like, but there's more things that you're not putting into the story, because why would God sit here and say, well, I'm in charge of this place, when, okay, so why are you allowing all these horrible things to happen if you're in charge of it? And I mean, we got to figure out, you know, like, so is it mankind and the sinners that are causing all the problems? If you're in charge, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So, anyways, and I'm sure, you know, there would be somebody who would like to sit down and tell me, you know, the facts of, you know, what I'm missing. It's like, okay, well, the way I see it is that we are here to awaken, that there is not just one singular God over us. We are the fractals of said Holy Spirit, and that we have forgotten who we are because we're drowning down in the dark, because we've been down in this dark place for a long time, and we are been like in a lesson plan. And so now we're ready to graduate from this lesson plan. But a lot of people have, you know, partied too much through the university, and they got behind. And so these events are to try and get them to get ready for the big exam, and to motivate them to study. And so so these events that are occurring is to just get people into alignment, to get people to be on track, you know. And if you want to look at it as like to get people to stop sinning and stuff, it is essentially, it is about a redemption and redeeming yourself and pulling yourself into your own yes, superiority of divinity, of your true self. And if you can't recognize your own divinity, then how can you think that there is a divine? So it's all of us is what creates the divine. It's all of our divinity coming together that creates the divine. And when we all come back together and put the pieces back together to create the puzzle that creates the God mind, then that is a concept or idea of Christ returning, because we are the return, because we find ourselves and bring that representation, that theory back to life. And so that is where the Christ returns, is because we return to unity and remembering our own divinity, and we pull that that state of consciousness back into existence. And so we begin to live in a more pure sense of living, and there's a lot to that. There's a lot to the universe of your ride, what you are here to experience. So many people don't want to acknowledge that. They just don't want to see, like, God makes mistakes. If I go blind, it's, I'm not supposed to. It's like, yeah, well, that's not how I look at it. It's like, we're here for all sorts of different experiences. And whatever experience, it's knocking at your door trying to. But then there's also things too, because if your experience is to learn to be more proactive in your life, then it's whatever you're here to learn is what you're going to be, is what your lesson plan has to do with. And that's for you, the being, to get in touch through internal contact, to see what you're here to learn, what you're here to experience, what you're supposed to be getting out of all this. That's for you to figure out. It's like we're not all here for the same thing. We're all here for all different things, and we're all going to go in different places when this is all going. And so that's why I can't say like, oh, no rapture is going to happen. Like, I don't know. I'm telling you, there's a huge group of people that could all go at the same time and leave. Like, that's not some crazy thing. Like, these other people who think, oh, that's so ridiculous, that's so silly. It's like, well, not in the spiritual world. They can definitely all go to the same place all at one time. And so, I do think that would really impact people. That would really get people to, like, question things, because you would see the spiritual side of life, the real side, not this pretend side that they try and keep you trapped in. So, anyways, when we're in these days where they're saying all this shit's gonna happen. Like, for all we know, the sun won't come up today. Well, it'll come up behind the Anunnaki ship. So, oh yeah, there was another thing too where she said, where I was like, did I hear that right? She just slipped, because it sounded like she was saying, like, God that created us is on this ship or something. I don't know. I don't remember how she said it or whatever, but I was like, that's funny, because that's where I think that, the human species was created through the Anunnaki coming here. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't tons and tons of humanoids, because we got all sorts of humanoids here that are from other galaxies, other planets, other places and stuff like that, because they're colonizing tribes. So they're tribes that just went out into the waters to see what other worlds there were, landed, and started colonizing, started having their tribe living there. And there's been a whole bunch. There's not just one group of people here. There's a bunch of different beings here. Even if we all look humanoid, but we also have different insects, which there's insectoids. So you have creatures that are from other places that are giant insects, but they also are conscious, intelligent beings. So they aren't just mindless little bugs. And then the micro macro. So we have a lot of things that are, in the micro macro of things. But so the insectoids are here, but they're little tiny creatures, and we have no respect for them. So but anyways, so you have all of these different beings, and they can look like humanoids, because even the humans that were created on the Earthlings, they were created based on the DNA from all of these other ones. So they were based on this template, this concept. And so, but you have aquatic beings. We have all sorts of different beings here. And so anyways, but that is a part of, to me, like the awakening and seeing and stuff, and becoming aware of and having respect for all the other life forms. But but anyways, in these the realites or the vamps, then they, uh, some of the ones that are more at the top, those beings are more like shapeshifters. They're more like, and I think they don't even have to do so much shape shifting now. They can shapeshift and they can go in, but some of them who have been around, I think they go into these synthetics and stuff. They get clones and synthetics and stuff made, and then they just have their consciousness put in there. And so it's not just that they have to hold their form in this shape shifting. So there's been advancements, but I don't think that they would all be considered like humans. But even if we we aren't even human, because everybody in their true form is a soul, is a light being. So everybody in their true form is an orb. So if every single thing and every single being and every insect and everything went into its true form suddenly, we would all just be little sparkles of light. We would be different sizes of orbs and light forms. And that's who we all are in our true form. And so to even, consider yourself as a human is to consider yourself as a limitation. That's a limiting belief that you are this, and then they start even structuring it down more into labels. Well, you're an American. Well, you're a girl. Well, you're this, you're that. And so they just want to keep you on that concept of that form when you are so much more. Where I say you need to focus on more of yourself as your orb, as your spiritual being, and go through life thinking, what is this spirit of me doing in this place? What am I doing here? Then that's where you start seeing like there's more purpose to life. There's a reason you're here. And that's where you got to connect into your own spirit to figure all that out. And it can be very variable. Like I hear people who are spiritual, who aren't just the crazy ones. And we all have different perspectives and stuff. Like some of us could agree on some things, but we don't agree. I don't think we agree on every single thing. But it's a variance. It's a spectrum of a vibration of your understanding, of your conceptualizing yourself and existence. So, and how close that some are to the truth is, that's up to the viewer, I guess. Like, I don't know. But, because there's a lot of these people who are super religious who think like this is it, this is the only way, and all the rest of us are gonna be lost and we're gonna be burning in hell with the demons and the tribulate, all this stuff. And I don't know, like if you took them and you raptured them out and you put them in front of a big viewing thing and they had to watch what went on, maybe that's their thing, to get them to see things differently. Maybe they're gonna watch and be like, wait a minute, isn't it supposed to be this way? Well, wait, I thought those were demons. I thought that, I don't know. Like I said, they can definitely all go someplace together. But everything in the universe, everything in existence is to learn and to grow and to expand. Everything is about the expansion. It's like, what do you do? Like if you think of the universe or the galaxy or the cosmos, all living things as being a giant mind, because that's how I see it a lot, as this giant brain. And the how would a brain grow? I mean, you'd want it to grow, to expand. If it wasn't growing and expanding, it would be receding and decaying. So we are the life. We give it the life. We go out. The experience is the expansion. So if we weren't doing that, it would just, everything would play out. It'd be played out. It'd be all done. It'd be like just start to decay. And that's, that kind of is where they create disease in realities, and that's what this kind of has become, a disease. And even this girl, this woman with the God thing, acknowledges that what this place has become, and that he says this time's up, it's done. He said, it doesn't matter what you humans try and do to change this, it's not gonna, you can't. This is the end of this time. Well, in the spiritual thing, yes, we also agree with that. This is the end of this time. This time is up, it's over, it's been played out, the disease has been eradicated, and it's time to move on. And that's where, you know, people are going to go and with their belief systems. And so, yeah, this is a time of change. This is yeah, the eradication of disease, but it is the decay. Like it couldn't just keep going and going and going. It just decays upon itself. And the universe is about expansion, and it is like the dark chasing the light. It is the motivation. It's the spinner that keeps it going. And so that is, you know, it has to continue, but it can't be. It's like the never-ending story. The dark just can't take over all the light. The light has to push back on the dark, and that's why there has to be this awakening, so that people can wake up and push back on the dark, because the dark cannot take over the universe, because then it would go into a sense of decay and everything would stop existing. And so we have to, there's like, and that's where the universe steps in, you know, God or whoever you believe steps in into the magic, the miracles, the sense of spiritual magic, the spirituality sense of things steps in to show what is real, to remind us, because we know, to pull us out of the dark and pull us back into what we are, the creators, to push out into the light, to continue the expansion of the universe, because it's the breath. It's almost like in this air, in this world, that it's been on the, when somebody's dying and they start having that certain way of breathing, it's like we've been in that for a long time. We haven't been taking deep breaths. We've been kind of almost holding our breath, and now is going to breathe new air in, a whole new it's like this new air is going to come in to, so we start taking a deep breath and we start breathing air back into life, into the universe, back into existence. We stop abusing animals. We stop being self-gratification, and more, because there is a sense of self-preservation that is to value yourself, but to constantly just feed into your own impulses and stuff. That's where you have to take a recognition into what feeds the dark and what feeds the light. So the breath that comes back in is going to be of the light, and that's the return of Christ, Christ consciousness. That's how the universe keeps itself going in expansion. But like, it's got to remind us of, like, hey, you guys, come on, you got to get out there, remember who you are, get to work, you know, start back into creating and living in a sense of light, so that we can breathe the air back into the mind of the consciousness of all things, of the source of being, so that it goes into expansion and breathing and stuff. Even though it's a very small little spot, just like if you had your whole entire brain and you had one little tiny spot, that was a tumor. That is in the micro macro. That's what we have here. It is not really affecting the whole entire universe, but it is it's a spot in the grid that needs to be cleaned up. And so, to keep the movement of all energy, and those things will still pop off around, and there still has to be going in and cleaning them, but that is what also is the growth and expansion of the universe, so of source, or whatever, however you want to look at it. So, anyways, I've been talking. Hopefully, I'm making sense because it makes sense to me. But, anyways, we have all these people saying all this stuff is about to go down, and I just think, and it may be real scary, if some of this shit does start going down, if the lights start going out, if there starts being weird lights outside, if there starts being beings out there, if there, who knows what's to come. This woman, what God told her was it's going to be very dramatic. But I think, lots of us know that something dramatic is coming. Something big is coming. But the thing that's coming is to get us on track, to remind us, to get us to remember who we are, and to get us to pull out of the dark, and to get us to get back in sync with ourselves, to become back into creators. And that's why the people who do will become the creators of this new world. And there'll be a lot of creators of a lot of different worlds, but there's going to be one that's going to be super positive. I just know that one because that's one I'm going to. But that is the positive, the world. And there's going to be a lot of different realities just in the age of Aquarius. It's not going to just be one town in the age of Aquarius and we're all on the same. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of different creators creating different worlds. It's just going to be a positive place. But anyways, I just know that's where I'm going because that's what has been being seen and shown for a long time. So anyways, that's where we're at. Just for people to remember who and what they are, which is your divinity, not that you are a worthless piece of shit. And, there's a lot of the book that wants you to, just recognize you're a worthless piece of shit. And it's like, that's what keeps you down. That's what keeps you held back. You want to remember your divinity, your importance, the important role you play in existence, and connecting to the side of you that is the creator, because that is what creates the momentum of the universe and its growth and expansion. And that's what keeps everything in motion. That's what keeps the spin spinning. That's what keeps everything moving. So that is, this is just like a reminder. And it's going to be at a lot of different levels. Like, it's going to be one experience for a certain level. It's going to be another experience for a different level. It just depends on where you're at, how much it affects you. So, because there's certain things that would be happening that I don't think will be scary, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Like, if the power goes out for 3 days and, you have no contact with anyone, don't forget about the candles. Stick with the white ones. I don't even think when I left the old house, I had a whole shit ton of candles ready for, the lights to go out. And because it would periodically anyways in storms. And I just would buy ones at the thrift store. So I had all sort of purple, red, everything. Like, I really don't think that God would be that picky. But anyways, I don't know. That's where you got to decide for yourself. Because I don't want to steer you wrong. I won't get you sent to the hell because you burned the wrong candles. So, anyways, just, I think that some things are going to be really scary to some people and they're not going to be scary to other people. But if it does end up, the power goes out and stuff for 3 days or whatever, then, I would think that I would be back after that once the power came back on, that, we'll come back. But I don't know. Maybe that's the end of this whole thing. Maybe that's the end of, all this, who knows? Who knows what the changes are going to be? We'll see. But I know that it's not something that you need to fear. But there is going to be a lot of fear because people are not going to see it coming. As a matter of fact, there's lots of people who make fun of stuff that they think it's ridiculous. And it's like, well, I guess you're going to find out that what you focus on is probably more ridiculous than what's real. I can just tell you, like, you are an orb. That's your real life. That's your real state of being. And this is what people are going to, I don't know, suddenly realize who and what you really are. And it's not this. And there's a lot of people who just focus on this in their labels. And they're going to see like, oh, I was, planting the wrong trees the whole time. So it's, you know, it's going to be where you put your energy, and people have been putting it in, you know, all the wrong pockets. So anyways, we'll see. I think it's getting closer and closer, whatever's coming, and who knows. We can go past these days and get to the 25th and nothing happened. But that doesn't mean it's not coming. Something's coming. It's still up there. Many of us know it's up there. We just don't know when it's coming, how it's coming, or what's going to, but something's coming. There's a big change ahead, and that's for sure. So anyways, but let's see this. You know what I think is such fucking bullshit? I swear to God, there's so many of these girls on TikTok, and they'll be like, oh, I just started taking this last week, and look at it, I've got this much growth. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't know. Maybe my hair is weak ass bullshit. I don't know. But yeah, it's a week long, and oh, look at this, my hair is this long after a week. It's like, okay, superpowers. So anyways, I don't know. I think so many people are full of shit. And they'll just say whatever for money. Well, I don't know. I kind of think that may be a sin. I don't know. You may be putting your energy into the wrong thing. You're just like, I'll do anything for that money. It's like, okay, I'll see where that gets you. So, anyways, I think it's getting a little dark again. But every time it gets dark, that's just like the dent and filling up. And then it's all in the process of healing. So, I like it when it goes more lighter. So, anyways, it'll get there eventually. But it still is like sore. So, it's definitely tender. So, anyways, I don't know what's to come. You know, today's supposed to be the start of the whole big situation. We have the big ceremony going today. Maybe the resurrection of the Charlie. So we'll see. We'll see what goes down. But just remember that there's nothing to fear. It's not, even when things seem scary, just put it into, just remember, oh yeah, we're in a movie. I'm really an orb. This isn't real. Like, just keep reminding yourself, oh yeah, I'm an orb. None of this is real. This is just a big old story. I'm just in this game. I came in this game. I saw this video yesterday. I thought it was really cute because it was this lady, and she did all these different characters. And they're all sitting up, they're all aliens. They've all got this stuff, and they're aliens, and they want to smoke out, and when they smoke out, they go to this game, Earth, where they're there for like 15 minutes, but it seems like it's 80 years. And so when you get there, you play all these different parts, but you don't remember who you are. And it was really in depth and stuff, because even when you get there, then you can do ayahuasca, and that'll make you come back here to be reminded who you are, but you won't remember who you are. So it's like this whole thing. I don't know. It was really cute. It was really elaborate and stuff. But anyways, that's the thing, is you got to remember, yeah, this isn't your real thing. All this is a bunch of big made up story. So, and you can't go wrong by focusing on you. Like I said, you've got to, this is a big part of this whole thing, is learning to love yourself and learning to love everybody. Because you can't love everybody if you don't love yourself. That's, you know, it starts with you. And until you can forgive yourself and let go of your shame, your guilt, and move forward. Oh, yeah, this girl. So this girl yesterday I heard, she was saying that, so she was doing psychology and stuff, and she said the reason they push Freud is because Freud keeps you trapped in pain and suffering. And there was a opposing guy to him, just like there was Tesla and Einstein. Then, so the opposing guy was like, I don't know, his name's Adele or something. And he was pushing how to heal yourself and to pull yourself out of your pain and shame and guilt and all that. And to acknowledge it, but not stay stuck there. Freud is like, you're worthless, you're stuck there, you suck, you know. He's like the same thing with religion. Like they keep this whole storyline going. But this other guy, he is about healing and connecting to yourself and forgiving yourself. So it's a big part, and that's the part they want to keep hidden. But that's what you need to do, is you need to focus on forgiving yourself and letting go of things, because when you hold on to them, it keeps you trapped. And so you've got to move out of it. You can't just sit back and just stay in your suffering and think things are going to get better. You're holding yourself back. So that is why you got to let go of shit, and you got to learn to love yourself. And then you got to learn to love everybody else. And then you start learning how to have the day you want to have. Where you focus your energy is what you're going to have. That's your experience. So anyways, but we'll see what goes on today. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So talk to you later. Bye.